I feel like I've stepped over this line of, being HIV negative or not knowing my status, and then being HIV positive, and I feel like that has separated me from a lot of people.
I just had the sense of, oh, I'm in big trouble now, like I did something wrong.
No one ever talked about, like, my chances of getting HIV or my friends or anybody close to me.
I mean, in all likelihood, I will probably die with AIDS.
I think I'll still be around for a while. I hope so. I just paid the rent.
It's a shame that it takes somebody having to get it, actually getting the virus, in order to all of a sudden realize the importance of everything.
There's just so many mixed messages geared towards young girls. I mean, if a teenage girl decides she wants to have sex, then we call that girl a whore or a slut. So I felt like I was expected as a teenager to just let sex happen to me. Well, when I had sex, I was ashamed of myself, I felt guilty, I was embarrassed, and then my self-esteem dropped. And then later, I would meet somebody, an older man, and they would start saying things and treating me in a way that I really wanted to be treated. Then my self-esteem went up, and I felt better about myself, and I felt attractive. Then all they wanted to do was get laid. We'd have sex. They didn't want to have anything to do with me. They'd be like, get out of here. And then down it went again.
In junior high school, we had sex education, but that was more like we learned about how you get pregnant.
I'm from New England. Sex education is don't do it till you're married.
I guess I was caught up in that it won't happen to me, it'll never happen to me syndrome.
And I remember saying, that's a gay disease. I'm not going to get AIDS. A girlfriend of mine asked me if I wanted to go out partying with her. And I didn't really want to, but I felt like, I need to get out of the house. I'm, depressed. And so we went to this party, and there's a good-looking guy that just started saying things I needed to hear. And that was that I was beautiful, and he loved my hair. And so I ended up having unprotected sex with him. And I just immediately regretted it.
I didn't know how to talk about these things with people. I didn't know how to protect myself and insist. When I was going home with someone who was older than me, I didn't know how to say to them, I think we should use a condom. I didn't feel that I could say that. I didn't feel that I could, exercise that power.
The thought, even under the influence of like alcohol, crossed my mind. Use a condom. I'm like, oh, but I'm young. Would that sound like a dorky thing to say?
One incident, I totally remember asking someone to wear a condom, and they didn't want to. And I was just like, well, okay. Which now, of course, I mean, even if I wasn't, at 25, it's a lot different than at 17.
People get the mind part, but sex is not in the mind, it's in the heart and it's in the body. And I find that most young people can think about it and think that of course I'm going to practice safe sex, but when it comes down to it, it's such a hard thing to talk about with your partner. It's, you know, there's so many insecurities already about having sex when you're young. You're not comfortable with your body, you're not comfortable with how you're going to talk to this person. Sex is not that much fun anyways for most young people because you're scared and you don't know how to get pleasure from it.
My parents were both alcoholics, and about the time where I was about 10 years old, my father started getting very violent. And he came into my room and he punched me in my face. And I ran to the front door and I opened up the front door and I started running away, running from the house. And he opened up the door behind me and said, you know, if you leave this house, you never come back. And started calling me a little asshole and a jerk and a loser. And I just kept running. And began my life as a street kid, homeless street kid. There was a preacher that used to preach on the corner in downtown Seattle. And this man was a so-called Christian, but he was also a pedophile. I moved in with him and his wife. His wife slept upstairs and I slept downstairs with him in a very sick relationship of where he would buy drugs, and he's the one who actually taught me how to use drugs. He taught me how to shoot up. He was 40 and I was 11. The role models that I had were IV drug users and criminals and pimps and prostitutes, and they were the people that took care of me, so those were the people that I wanted to be like. This is Larkin Park, and this is a park where I used to hide in the corners and shoot dope. This little area that we're coming up on right here is where I used to sleep, right in here. And we just put a mattress in here and go to sleep.
I don't know of any squatters in this city anyways, really, that are not addicted to some drug of one kind or another, or like total alcoholics.
I use heroin. I make money soliciting and prostitution. It's really hard to say no, 50, 60 bucks real quick. But I'd have to say four out of 10 times you have to say no. Because these guys just don't want to use condoms, or they want to just do things that would put you at risk for HIV.
I worry about him. We have sex, so what affects him affects me. I mean, we have safe sex, but still, it only takes once.